Hello everyone. Today I'll be going over my presentation titled Transitioning from a Closed System to an Open System for week 5. Quick overview on what I'll be covering in my slides. I'll be going over a brief description on closed system theory versus open system theory in terms of organizations. I'll be using some supporting theorists for either closed or open systems to support them. And after that, I'll go over a brief discussion on which way it should be in examining modern day organizations. Organizations that function as closed systems are those that do not interact with their environment. This meaning that all of the operational methods and procedures are developed and dictated from within the organization or that division or the organization, and they don't need or don't necessarily allow any feedback from outside sources to dictate or tell the organization how to run. These closed systems are generally viewed as efficient and stable since they're stagnant and don't change very much, and they're set in their ways. Some examples of closed systems are assembly lines and are in research and development in companies. With assembly lines, you have a clear set of procedures in producing a certain type of product that doesn't really require the feedback of the workers. And this system usually is, you could correlate Frederick Taylor's theory of scientific management with this. We can also consider or think about Max Weber in closed systems. Closed systems are very hierarchy in the chain of command. It's very top-down approach in the organization. And Max Weber is also, he emphasized the importance of impersonal relationships between workers and management, thus not really allowing for input or feedback from employees. Wilson's dichotomy can also be applied to closed systems in that the separation of politics and administration is very black and white. You don't want any mixing between or any influencing between one entity with the other. Likewise, you also have the dual federalism, also referred to as layered cake federalism, where you have a clear division of power between federal government and state governments. And in this example, you have state governments able to govern and run their states independently without influence of external environment factors, in this instance being the federal government not caring for any input from the federal government. Organizations that operate under open systems are those that interact with their environment. So here, these organizations accept feedback and input from sources outside of the organization, as well as encourage feedback and input from within the organization from employees and workers alike. Here we have free flow information from all directions within the organization, and it's no longer just a top-down approach. From Katz and Kahn, they said there does not have to be a single method for achieving an objective. So here we see that there's no single best method or best way of running an organization. There are many different ways an organization can be ran depending on its environmental conditions in regards of politics, funding, socioeconomic status of the community. So there's a lot of different factors that take place into how a government or an organization can be run to achieve its goals. Organizations always have inputs coming in, and then the organization has to process those inputs and come out with the output. And those inputs are always changing depending on the different environments taking place. So the processes or the methods of organizing those inputs change as well as needed. Theorists that support the open system theory are Mary Parker Follett and Henry Fayol, both of whom advocated for better worker and manager relationships in more dynamic relationships and encouraged employee and worker feedback. Cooperative federalism, or also known as marbled cake federalism, can be applied to open systems. With increasing national government standards, along with an increase on reliance on federal funding, the environmental interactions between state and federal governments are more critical than ever. Working for a water municipality, I would definitely agree that an open systems theory is more relevant or reflective of modern day public administrations. Open systems allow for flexibility for the agency to evolve or change or adapt to external conditions or environmental conditions, whether it be financing, different laws that are being implemented, or feedback from customers that the agency serves. For the water district itself, we have to comply with EPA regulations or any additional regulations that come down directly from the California Water Boards, and also the actual environmental conditions of the state also dictate policies within the organization. And obviously our customers also play a big role in shaping our policies within the organization. Here are my references. And with that, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all have a nice weekend.